My name is Brittany Hook. I'm with the Scripps Institution of Oceanography at UC San Diego. We're located in San Diego, California, which is in the United States of America. And Scripps Oceanography, we mainly focus on research and education. So we have a thriving education program which encompasses PhD and graduate level studies, undergraduate studies. We have a Master of Advanced Studies programs, and they all delve into studies of the Earth and the oceans, and climate change is a big topic that we study. We also have a really big research program, and we have been around for more than 100 years. Scripps was founded in 1903 in La Jolla, California. And since then it has grown, and in 1912 it joined the University of California, and then in 1925 it was renamed the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. When it was first founded, it was the San Diego Marine Biological Station. And then in 1960 it officially became a department within UC San Diego. And UC San Diego is known for breaking boundaries and doing really innovative research. And so Scripps is a big part of their research, and we're focused on more than just the marine life and the oceans, but also the atmosphere, seismology. We have people who study earthquakes and sensors and technology that can help with early warning detection systems for seismic activity, which is a big deal in San Diego, which is close to a major fault line. We also are very well known in pertaining to climate studies, for our Keeling Curve program, which began in 1959 by Charles David Keeling, a Scripps researcher. And he began the study, the daily study of CO2 in the atmosphere. Using atmospheric science, he created a way to actually measure the amount of CO2, and he started the station in Mauna Loa in Hawaii. And since then, since 1959, they have taken measurements every single day. So that is the first major program that has determined how much CO2 is out there. And that's provided a baseline for current scientists and future scientists to see how climate and CO2 have shifted throughout the years, and how humans have really changed the impacts. One of our main research, we also have other people studying many different areas of the oceans. So we have a team that studies specifically the deep ocean and how climate impacts deep ocean communities. We also have people who study fisheries science. So they go out on cruises. There's our longest running fisheries program is called Cal Coffee, and they study the fisheries and movement of fish along the California current, just off the coast of California. We also have people who study earthquakes and also polar science, so people who are looking at ice shelves and measuring how fast the ice sheets are melting, or discovering new underwater rivers and by using technology and satellite data. And we also have people studying atmospheric rivers, which are these giant, massive storms that bring tons of water in very short bursts, but it also can cause flooding. So we have people studying those very interesting storms. And we also have the Center for Marine Biotechnology and Biomedicine, and they are studying many different things, but one of the main things is drugs from the sea. So looking at different biological material from the ocean and seeing if any of those materials are usable for medicine, for curing diseases, or they can be used in many different facets. We know more about some planets in the Earth, or some planets, than we do of the ocean. So it's really important that we continue to investigate and learn more about the seafloor. We have Scripps scientists are mapping the seafloor using technology. We also have one of our programs that's here at COP22. We're representing our Argo program, which Argo is a big float, and it's a big piece of equipment that goes into the ocean. It can go up to 2,000 meters deep, and as it goes down, it collects temperature and salinity data, and scientists can track them remotely. So there's thousands of them all across the world. So in some oceans that people aren't able to get to, or areas that they wouldn't be able to monitor every day, we have satellite data that's transmitted, and we can get an understanding of the levels of salinity and temperature all around the world. So that's really helpful, and also the movement of the currents. So we have an Argos float here, a model float, and that's been really popular at COP22. And the one that we brought here is actually a model of our biogeochemical sensor, which has another layer on top of it that has new technology, which was developed in Todd Mart's lab at Scripps Oceanography. We also have a center. We just opened the Center for Climate Change Impacts and Adaptation at Scripps. So we have had a lot of different scientists and students, graduate students, and centers working on aspects of climate change, but now we have a center where all of that research is kind of focused in one place, and it's a cross-collaborational center. There's people from other departments at UC San Diego who work in the center. It's pretty new, but you'll hear more about it in the future. And that just opened last year at Scripps. And I think what Scripps is really known for is discovery and exploration. So our scientists have been going out on cruises and collecting data and samples and just learning about the Earth and the oceans. And passing that knowledge on to the next generation is really important. So we really focus on educating all of our students, including graduate students, and then they can carry the torch forward and do their innovative research and sort of make new discoveries and help us understand more about the Earth and climate. And one of the main reasons that we come to COP and this year COP22 is to spread awareness of how important the oceans are, because it was just last year that they were included in the text of the Paris Agreement for the first time. And considering that the oceans absorb 93% of the CO2 in the atmosphere in the long term, that's a pretty big deal, and they have a really big effect on how climate changes and the effect of climate on environments. So it's important that we understand those changes, and so we wanted to represent the ocean science and spread awareness to everyone at COP about the importance of the ocean. And we also have a fleet of research vessels at Scripps Oceanography. One of the largest fleets in the US, one of the largest US academic fleets. And we have, it's a floating platform called FLIP, and it's a platform that can actually turn and go up, and it has to be towed out to sea, but it has a long buoy type of formation, and the bottom ballast tanks fill with water, and the people on the top, each wall can fold in different angles, so you go from being completely horizontal to vertical, and it's really interesting. So people are out at sea on almost like a sideways ship, and the long portion of the vessel is way underwater, and it can collect really good measurements of various acoustics and measurements for oceanography, and it's very stable because of the design. So that was designed back in the 50s. We also have newer research vessels, including our brand new research vessel, Sally Ride, which is owned by the US Navy and operated by Scripps Institution of Oceanography and UC San Diego. And The ship was just commissioned about a week ago, and it started its first cruise with scientists and students on board to collect measurements and study oceanography. That cruise actually just left a few days ago. So that's a really big and exciting development in oceanography, and that data will be shared and used by many organizations to learn more about the ocean and climate and the environment, which is all very developing important. A lot of they're engineers and they're making equipment, and they work with various departments to go through the right channels to get it patented. And and we also, something important about spreading awareness about the importance of the oceans is we have a public aquarium at Scripps. It's called Birch Aquarium at Scripps, and it's an aquarium and also public outreach center, so people can go there to learn about science conducted at Scripps, because our scientists work with them on the exhibits and they inform a lot of the displays that are there. So that's really exciting. And they also have a new exhibit about RV Sally Ride, the research vessel Sally Ride. So that's been really exciting too, because it's inspiring younger generations of students to want to learn about science and to get engaged and be interested, which is something that Sally Ride herself would have really liked. Scripps Institution of Oceanography came to COP22 this year with our largest ever delegation, which includes graduate students, faculty, staff member, and a postdoctoral scholar. And we also have a couple people from Upper Campus, which is the main UC San Diego campus, their School of Global Policy. And then we have a handful of researchers from other University of California departments. And we all came here to really represent Scripps science and the importance of the oceans. And our graduate students are participating in a number of press conferences and panels and talks to really to practice science communication and to inform people about their important research. We also this year have our very first booth, our own solo exhibit. In the past, we've partnered with with Plymouth Marine Laboratory, and this year was the first year that we have our own display, and we brought one of the Argo floats, and that's been a big hit.